Hey,
Hello, hello, hello.
how
How are
are you?
you? All
I'm good.
in your glory. Yes, I'm here for it. How you doing?
I'm
How
good.
you doing on this beautiful Thursday? I love the hair, girl. I can't get over the hair. Give me 2 seconds just for the hair, okay? Yes. And I see the background. I love that picture. I love
Of
it, love it,
course.
love it. Okay, so let me give the introduction as I always do. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your girl, JL Diamond, and I am the author of Spirit of a Woman book. And today I am sitting with one of my contributors of the book, and that is Mrs. Gia Bracey, aka Mrs. J, aka Loving My Nails, aka Ladies of Justice. Okay, all of the AKAs is in the building, and we ain't talking about the Soras. How are you, Mrs. Gia?
I am doing amazing. I am so excited to be here. I am pumped up and ready to go and talk about self-love.
All right, well, I'm here for it. So we gonna jump right into it then. Let's get the party started. So first question I always like to ask is, what made you decide to be a part of the book?
Good question to start off with. um, at the time when you reached out to me, I was going through some issues and I was not in a good place. I was in, like, I would say, a dark place. And when you reached out, it was like a light shined. And I had decided, I was like, okay, what do I want to write about? Because I want to write about something, because I need to get some things off my chest. And it was either this or that. And it was either going into something that is truthful but wasn't going to be uplifting. And then I said, that's not where I need to be right now. I need to focus on uplifting my spirit. So let me talk about what I need to do, which is loving Gia. So it just started off making me think about my grandmother and my mom. And from there, I just started writing about self-love, and I'm so glad that you did
Okay.
extend that invitation to the group, because it was what I needed. It was very much what I needed.
I love that. I love the fact that me taking a chance and reaching out to other people sparked something in them to do their own thing, even above and beyond this project. And that's what makes it bigger than me, because it's like been a domino effect. So I'm so happy for you. I'm so excited about all the projects I know you got coming up. And you're going to need to practice a lot of self-love to balance all of it, all right? So first question I want to ask is, a lot of issues with self-love. First of all, what is the definition of self-love to you? What does self-love look like, sound like, act like, mean to you?
Well, what self-love looks like, acts like, smells like, tastes like to me, it's it's me taking the time out to get to know myself, not the person everybody else sees on the outside every day, but me actually internalizing, like, okay, what is it that Gia wants? How does Gia want to portray her life? How does she want to, how does she want to get her views and her passions across? So in order for me to do that, I had to tap into things about myself that I didn't know. So basically, it's mentally, it's physically, and it's spiritually, to sum it up. That's
Okay.
what self-love looks like to me, and making sure that you're consistent with all three.
Okay. So consistency is a key word right there. So I'm gonna have Miss Denise. How you doing? Tell my mama that she better be watching me on the big screen. at the house, because I know y'all all over there having a good time. But speaking of consistency, we are in a time, I mean, the pandemic did slow us down a little bit, but in general, people are on the go, go, go all the time. So how do you tap into that when you have, and you're a wife, you work, you're trying to do entrepreneur work on the side. How do you work that out? Do you think self-love is in your daily routine? When you think of your day, have you scheduled self-love in your day?
Absolutely. Sometimes in a big way and sometimes in a small way. But I try to um, do it every day. Something for myself to help lift me up. Whether it's taking a long hot shower and using my body scrub to make myself feel good and putting on some smell good, or whether I am getting up early in the morning and doing some breathing exercise and some yoga to help me get my day set, or whether it's just me going deep in prayer, and becoming one with my Father. All of that is part of my daily routine to help me. It's little steps, but it's helping me every day to understand that I am on the right track.
Now, what obstacles do you find trying to, because you said consistently, are there any obstacles that you find trying to do this every day? Do you miss days? Do you feel different when you miss it? Have you always, okay, I'm asking mad questions at once.
Okay.
Or have you always been here in this place of understanding of self-love?
Yeah, that was a lot of questions.
So let's start with the first one.
Uh-huh.
Do you find hindrances or obstacles that doesn't allow you to tap into that as consistently as you would like to?
Absolutely. Every day, there's something going on, whether it's work, whether it's a family issue, whether I'm having issues in a relationship, whether it's with a friend or a family member. It can be challenging sometimes to remember that I need to replenish myself, because I'm always working on helping everybody else, or trying to, find a solution to a problem that may not be mine, but I am extending myself. So that's where the challenge comes in, because sometimes it's like I may do too much for others and not enough for me. So I've learned, and I think we've all experienced this, just depleting ourselves, like constantly pouring into other people's cup and expecting other people to pour back into us. And that's one of, I think, my biggest mistakes, is waiting for people to pour back into me what I pour back into them. So what I've learned on my journey that I started during, I would say, COVID, was I need to learn how to pour into my own cup. I need to make sure that my cup is full and overflow. So every day it's a challenge, because like I said before, I try to do a little something for myself, with self-love, but there are times when I do forget about loving Gia, and it does affect me, because then my mood is affected. Then I feel not lazy, but just not interested in certain things. And I know I should be, but I'm like, well, why am I not feeling this way? I know I should be doing that, but I'm not feeling it. And then when I go back and I start going back and saying my prayers, getting up and taking that long, nice hot shower, doing my breathing, it gets me back into the focus. Okay, Gia, you need to be back on track with taking care of that paperwork that you need to take care of, So basically that's what it does for me.
So you said two important things. One is I got to make sure my cup is flowing and overflow. I was just about to, Miss Denise is catching me. So Miss Denise, who the host? No, I'm joking. So a lot of times we pour, and what we don't realize is a lot of the times, technically, that we're taught that people are supposed to get our overflow, meaning we're not supposed to be coming from a depleted place. We should be already filled. And whenever you're extending your hand to someone, it's because you're overflowing with all of this energy, all this life. You just got to touch someone and give them some of that lifeline you got. But some of us, most of us, will be drained, and we over here like a remote battery trying to flip it to the other side to get a little bit extra more juice, or replacing one battery and keeping the old battery, and you're operating halfway, and then you get upset with the people that you helping. But the truth be told, you the one who put yourself in a position. So we also have to be careful that a lot of the situations that we end up in when it comes to overextending ourselves is our fault. And that is because we are not respecting ourselves. We have not created our own personal boundaries, let alone boundaries by other people. We haven't even created boundaries for ourselves. And then the other thing you said was, I pour out and want those people to pour back into me. One thing I've learned is a lot of the time, some of the time, the place of your pouring out is not going to be your source of replenishing. And that is a hard pill to swallow, because you're like, I did for you, Gia, so you should do for me. Why every time I'm looking for something for you to hold me down, you can't hold me down? But you don't realize that somebody did come around to help you. It just wasn't who you wanted. So you kind of disregarded the help. So we also have to be cognizant that sometimes we have to accept that. So when you extend yourself, do it without a desire for return, because it'll come back to you. It just may not be from your source. Just wanted to put that out there.
Absolutely, and I agree. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that we all make. We expect that person to pour back into us. Like, for example, I'm like on this big thing with women, taking care of themselves, because we as women, we tend to take care of everybody else and leave ourselves for last, when the order should be taking care of ourselves first and then taking care of everybody else. And I once went to a training where the panel, they had stated, this one lady stated that the first thing that she does is she, of course, put God first. Then she comes second, then her husband, then her kids, and then her household. And she was like, when she said that to me, it just clicked. I'm like, that's the order it should always be in. But sometimes we feel like we're being selfish, taking care of ourselves first, that we shouldn't. And it's such a thin line between being selfish and having self-love for ourselves. And I would dare to say it's okay to be selfish. It's okay for me to just be concerned about how I'm going to do today, like what I'm going to eat today, like what my business is going to look like today, and not be concerned about anybody else and not feel guilty about it, because that guilt will play on you. But one of the things, I during my journey, I realized that self-love is a challenge. It's not something that's easily done. It's so simple, but it's such a challenge for us to do these things for ourselves. Like the other day, I was.
Why do you think so? Why do you think that is?
I believe it's because of how we were trained, how we were brought up. I think most of us, when you first came out with the book, I had a friend of mine read it, and she said, in her family, she was never taught about self-love at all. It was always making sure the family was good. And that's how she's always been driven. And she was like, she wants to pass this book down to her granddaughter. She said, because she wants her granddaughter to understand how important self-love is, not only for your physical, but for your mental and your spiritual well-being. I mean, something as simple as going and getting a manicure and a pedi. If you're so routine, because there's a lot of people on here who get their nails done religiously every 2 weeks or once a month, right? But when you go to get your nails done or your hair done, are you just doing it because you're going to do it because that's your appointment? Or are you setting the day up for you? Like, I think it's important that, if you're going to go do something for yourself, like say get your hair done or your nails done, that you set out the day to take yourself out to lunch, maybe go do some window shopping. If you want to call a friend to come be with you, then that's fine. Go sit down and just be with you. It's okay to be with yourself. You'll actually find out that you actually enjoy your own company. Because I enjoy my own company. I didn't know that before. And I'm an only child.
Wow. And you're just finding this out?
Yeah, because I was more focused on wanting to be around other people and
Okay.
not focusing in those times of, you know what, you just chill on your own. Just do something and get up and go take yourself to the movies, take yourself to dinner.
Yeah.
You know, those are things that you can do for yourself. And you wouldn't believe the energy that's going to come out from within, because you're going to be so excited that you did this for you. You know, you're going to be such in a great mood.
Now, I would like to ask the people watching, when is the last time you went and took yourself out with just you? And if you can't remember, I want you to type, I can't remember, okay? Because if you can't remember the last time you went out because you felt like doing something and you didn't want to wait around for people and you just want to enjoy yourself, that's a problem. Okay? So I want you guys to tell me the last time you went out by yourself and enjoyed yourself and did something. What was it? Where was it? And if you can't remember, type I can't remember. Okay. Proceeding. So, what have you always been in this space? Like, oh, Miss Mom, Kimberly said 2 weeks ago, her anniversary and last week. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So, have you always been in this space of like you said, a friend of yours wasn't even aware that this is something she should do? Have you always been in a space where you were very aware and cognizant of what you should do and how it should look? Or was there a process to get you to where you are right now, where maybe you didn't realize, like, oh snap, I've been neglecting myself all this time. You know what I'm saying? What was the light bulb that said, I need to get back to me, I've been neglecting myself?
Okay, so I'm gonna start a little bit from the beginning. So like
Okay.
growing up, like my grandmother, you know, may she rest in peace, grandma, and my mom, you know, they always instilled in me that no matter what you're going through in life, no one needs to know your business. Always make sure that when you walk the streets, that your clothes is clean and pressed, your hair is neat, make sure your nails is done. You don't have to be rich to look clean and decent, right?
That's a
And
fact.
you know, my grandmother was really big on that. Like if you went to her house and your nails wasn't done, you're going to visit her. And she'd be like, why your nails is not done? Why your toes is not done? Why your hair look like that? When you gonna do your hair? You know? And it's like, grandma, I just came to visit. But
Right.
you know, that generation, you know, they spoke differently. So I had to get the message that she was giving me in between the lines. So I understood that, you know, she was like, appearance is very important, because what happens is if you allow yourself to fall back and not take care of the exterior part of you, you know, when it comes time to look in the mirror, you're gonna be like, yo, what the hell is going on? Look at me. I look a hot mess.
Right.
What started me on my journey was I went through some real challenges, like basically some real heartache, I could say. Like my heart was basically broken. And it was different relationships with different people, that I went through some serious, I would say,
Changes.
changes. Yeah,
Traumatic
changes.
changes.
Yes. And you know, I had to fall back and look at myself and be like, well, what's going on? Why am I attracting this type of energy? You know? And when I sat down and I realized that I wasn't taking care and loving me. I wasn't focused on Gia. So I literally woke up one day, looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. I didn't know anything about myself. I was just like, I felt it was weird. It was a crazy feeling. I don't know if anybody on here can ever experience that, but when you go through something traumatic, you know, I was diagnosed as PTSD. You know, it really awakened a lot of things about me that I liked and I didn't like. And not knowing that I have to go through these growing pains of getting to know Gia at this age and what she likes and what she doesn't like. And before I was just, you know, I was just existing. I wasn't even living. I was just existing. So when I went through that trauma, it was like it birthed a new me. Someone I didn't recognize, somebody who I don't know if I wanted to get to know, but I realized that God does not, you go through things in life. Sometimes you go through it for yourself, which I think you do go through it for yourself, but sometimes you also go through it for the people around you.
Yes.
Your experience, I can't talk to someone else about self-love or PTSD or something traumatic if I didn't face it myself. Like, you had a lot of amazing women on this episode, and each and every one of them went through something that was traumatic to them, and out of that they birthed something beautiful. So, it was just understanding that this was a process that I have to go through, and through that birth came, a business that it's almost there, but a business of loving herself, and I was like, okay, God, I get it, but you don't want to go through growing pains, but I'm definitely taking note of what's going on in my surroundings. I'm not just taking it for granted anymore. I'm paying attention to what I like and what I don't like, and setting my boundaries, and letting people know, whether if it's just colleagues or friends or a spouse or a parent, know that my voice matters, and I have a right to say how I feel, like my mother taught me, respectfully, right?
Now,
So go ahead.
how hard is it to, because I have noticed in my self journey, they say that you teach people how to treat you.
Yes.
So a lot of times we get upset about how other people are treating us, not realizing that we've given them the green light to do this because of the lack of our voice, because of the lack of boundary. And it could be people that are close to us. Mm-hmm. Even mothers. Matter of fact, a lot of the time it's your mama, because she's still looking at you as your baby. And yes, for them, there's no such thing as a boundary. I'm going to do and say what I want no matter how old you are. That's how they can be. So how hard is it to create boundaries with people you love?
It can be a challenge because they're so used to you being that other person, and they may look at it as you being difficult. They may look at it you as being disrespectful. But, when in your heart of hearts that whatever it is that's going on matters to you, and this is how you feel, and this is something that you're not going to tolerate anymore, it's like a fight for your life. Because you only get one life, and if you continue to just go on walking on eggshells and pins and needles, you're not being true to yourself. You're not loving yourself.
Right.
You're not at all. So it's a challenge, but it's something that, because I love them and I love myself, I'm gonna work on it, and hopefully they'll work on it too by seeing the change within me.
I appreciate that. And I also want to add to that, when it comes to boundaries, you have to understand that loving someone beyond your limitations is a lack of respect for you. Because we can use the word love, and I feel like it don't hit for people. That's why self-love don't hit. But when you say self-respect, everybody want respect. If you ask people love and respect, a lot of people be like, yo, respect me, right?
Right.
So I want you to understand, when you don't set boundaries, you are disrespecting yourself, okay? Disrespecting yourself. And when you are ready to set boundaries, it is definitely a mind screw, okay? Mm-hmm. Because people are going to be ruffled by your desire to be respected in the way you want to. And you have to be able to stand on your word. Mm-hmm. When I finally reached a place of boundaries, because I was a bit of a people pleaser, I was like, these people are not going to talk to me anymore because they're upset with me, right? So then that showed me one issue. I was afraid to lose people at the detriment of my own pain.
Say it again. One more time.
I don't even know what I just said. I was afraid to lose people at the detriment of my own pain. I would rather hurt me than to make you uncomfortable with what I respect of myself, knowing if the shoe was on the other foot, you would have no problems.
Not a problem.
Putting me in order. Excuse me, don't talk to me like that. Don't treat me like that. Don't act like that, right? So I had to take accountability and said, I allowed this. But I also have to be strong enough that when I say that I'm ready to make this change, that I am willing to lose people, because the people that love you ain't gonna lose you. It's just gonna take a little time for them to get used to this new you. That is an ugly part of getting into self-love.
I just want to add something, and
yes.
I definitely understand that. And what I've come to terms, like my new terminology of, you know, when I go through that, because I've lost a lot of people in my life, whether it's been family or friends, and when God removes people from you that you love, it's hard. It can be hard because you want them to be there regardless of the disrespect or them not, you know, whatever it is. And I had to learn how to mourn the living and let go, almost cremating the relationship. So it's like, you know, you mourn the dead, you miss them and everything, but the living, it's almost like the same process, because there's no longer a relationship that's going to happen anymore because it's done. But it's okay. So what I got to go through right now is the process of mourning and letting go and knowing it's all right, and I'm going to be okay. They're going to be all right, but I'm going to be okay. Because meanwhile, I'm sitting here, you know, crying and being emotional and wondering why this is like this, and they're living life.
Always. They always live in life. You know why? Because they love themselves. They prioritize themselves, and we didn't learn to do that, and we get upset with them. Because if we do something wrong, they may be quick to push you to the side, and you're upset. And I learned, don't be upset because they were strong enough to do what you wanted.
Yes.
But we are, because we expect people to acquiesce the way we acquiesce, but that wasn't healthy. You know what I'm saying? So it comes back to self. You get what I'm saying? And I love that you talked about mourning, because it's not just about mourning other people, it's mourning the you that you're shedding. Because we want to run back to that familiar feeling when everybody liked us. When nobody when there was no conflict, when there was no rough feathers ruffled. And so we're like, okay, let me go back to the old me, because that's what you know what, I ain't even gonna say nothing because I already know how it's gonna be. And it's like, no, once you start shedding that skin, you gotta shed it completely and re-emerge out that cocoon into this new butterfly in all your colors. All right? I'm loving this. All right. So let's keep going. So what tools are you putting in place, like physical, tangible tools that people listening, if they're struggling with self-love, if they don't know how to set boundaries, if they don't know how to talk themselves out of a negative space, what things are you practicing to help that journey?
Okay, so I started off with a couple of things, and one of them was I seek professional help. I reached out for a therapist. You know, in my parents' and my grandmother's days, that's like, you don't do that. Matter of fact, we don't even talk about the problems. We just sweep it under the rug. That's that era. And, you know, like, I'm thankful to my mother for breaking that cycle, because she was part of that era and she didn't want that for me. So she taught me how to speak up and speak out respectfully. So one of the things that I like to do for myself is, you know, what anybody can do for themselves is personal development. Personal development is so important for yourself, because it helps you, just like it's all part of self-love. It helps you to navigate through some of the trenches that you go through, that, and on top of getting on your knees and making sure that the man above is by your side as well. But it helps you to navigate through some of the tough times. If you don't know how to handle a negative situation, that might be this big, but to you it's like this big, you're gonna just, you could wipe yourself out. You could go into, you could spiral out, you can go into a deep depression, you know, because of the fact that you don't know how to handle these situations. Another thing is, I like to do is breathing, just taking deep breaths.
People don't realize how big of a this. It always been a simple thing.
So breathing is one of the things that I've been doing for a long time to calm myself down, to relax myself, you know, because sometimes I'll get so worked up and I can feel my nerves. And then I will just tell myself, okay, Gia, just close your eyes and take as many deep breaths as you need until you feel better. It's not solving my problem 100%, but it's relaxing me. It's helping me to view things differently. And that's another thing about self-love. When you're loving yourself the way you're supposed to, mentally, physically, and spiritually, mentally meaning that at the end of the day, if I don't have a therapist to speak to, you know, sometimes, you know, I may want to vent to a girlfriend or a parent, and depending on the person, their response may not be what I need. So a lot of what I've been doing is I've been venting to him. I'm like, you're the only person that I know that's going to have the answer for me and give me what I need. And there have been times when I've been such in a place where I'm just so upset that when I get down on my knees and the tears and all is coming down, and I just asking the Father to just cover me. Because sometimes when you're in it and you're stressed and you're going through it, it's hard to pray. It's hard to pray. And, you know, people are like, oh, just pray. No, it's hard to pray. So somebody had taught me, just call on his name, if that's all you could say. And I will just literally be in my spirit. And I'm just like, just calling out to Jesus, because he know already. I don't have to say nothing, but just call his name. And after I go through that, I wake up and I literally feel a brand new. I really feel like the weight has been lifted off of me. And then I'm like, okay, now let me see how I'm gonna do things. Let me see how I'm gonna figure this out. Because God, you know, you have me here for a reason. I might not like it, but I know I have to go through the process. So help me, Lord. And another thing I like to do is walk. You know, cousin Janice, you know, she said she started walking. That is so amazing. People don't understand how therapeutic walking can be, you know. Or I love getting up early in the morning and stay like around between, like especially on the weekends, like around like between 9 and 11, and going for a walk or going to the beach or going to the bay, because it's peaceful, and just allowing yourself to just clear your head. I'm not looking for an answer. I just need to clear my head. The answer's gonna come, you know. So that's something that I do. Like I love taking long hot showers. I know my water bill can be a little bit high because of it, but I think my best creative moments are in the shower. Like I think of so many. Like I told you, I need to get a recorder I can keep in the shower with me, because I'm thinking of so many positive, creative things while I'm in the shower, because I'm letting all of today's stress go, and I'm doing that for me, you know. And just understanding, like, at the end of the day, you have to find out what it is that you like, and it's okay if you don't have that answer right now. Take the time out to get to know yourself, explore, be adventurous, get up and do some things, because you never know, you know, what you may, run into, that you be like, you know what, I never knew that I liked, riding bikes. Now I want to ride a bike all the time. I never knew that I liked swimming. Now I want to swim all the time. We had somebody in the family who went and did a marathon the other day, and I felt inspired. I'm like, shoot, I want to do a marathon too. Yeah,
Tara did the 5K marathon.
Absolutely. And Tara did that for Tara. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I want to do that for myself. I want to get back in there. But understanding that your process is different from the next person. Don't compare yourself. So somebody who you may be sitting and looking at and like, oh, she has it all together. Trust and believe, she don't have it all together, but she's been working on herself. So she's at a level where she can maybe guide you, and you pass it down to the next. And that's so important for us women to do, is understand that we carry so much. We take care of the household, we take care of the kids, we go to work, We do everything under the sun because that's what we're taught to do as women. And we do not take care of us. And, you know, our health is important. Like, you know, a lot of times, you know, like for instance, you know, I had a medical condition and there were other people in the family that were going through the same thing. But because we weren't having the conversation with each other, none of us knew until one ended up in the hospital. And it was like, wait, how long have you been dealing with this? Years. I've been dealing with this years for years too. So it's
Right.
important to, you know, sit down and reevaluate your situation and go out and find out what things that you can do to make yourself feel better. You know, partner up with some workout partners. You know, if you can't, if you want to, if you're the type of person that feels that you have to have somebody with you, then partner up with somebody, you know, and let them know, like, listen, this is something I'm working on and I want to do this. But here's the key. If they don't want to do it, like if they like, you know what, today I'm not going. You don't say, okay, I'm not going to go either. You get up and push yourself to go because guess what? You're doing it for you. You're not doing it for them.
Now, on that note, I do want us to go to the book.
Okay.
And I want you to read the second page of your part, that first paragraph on the second page. Nice and loud for the class.
Hold on.
Okay.
Reading glasses. Hold on. Let me put on the reading glasses.
Everybody, you have your books. We are reading from the Loving My Nails section. That is the section that Miss Gia, aka Mrs. J, wrote. So we are in the Loving My Nails. My next book will have page numbers, but for now, look in the table of contents. All right.
Okay. Defeat inconsistency. Don't be overwhelmed. Start with one thing. And if it leads you into doing more for you, then let the love flow. No pressure, no rush. Be patient with yourself. There's no deadline to meet when it comes to loving you. It should be a part of who you are. It takes a whole lifetime to love all of you. Don't be so hard on yourself either. We all fall short and we even have failures. But self-love helps us to heal and grow through it all. Loving yourself, especially through tough times, will change your mindset about how you feel regarding the situation, but more importantly, how you feel about you.
Yes. Can I get some snap? We ain't got the snap emoji, but can I get some hearts in there for that? Because you went right into what my next point was, which was that last line, which is loving yourself changes your mindset about the situation. But I'm gonna go a little step further. A lot of the reason it's hard for us to love ourselves is because we are still stuck in our trauma and our pain. And some of us have been complacent and even comfortable in feeling pain. It allows us to be the victim. It allows us to make excuses. It allows us to do a lot of things to avoid working on ourselves, right? But the other part of that is now a lot of things can be a trigger for you now. Now all those wounds, you're a grown adult still moving like the little boy or the little girl within you because you haven't healed those wounds. And sometimes other people who have hurt you will not apologize. It will not give you what you quote unquote think you need to set you free. Self-love can set you free because once you change yourself into loving yourself, being gentle with yourself, being kind with yourself, that allows you to look through life in a different lens. That allows you to give people the same grace that you are now. A lot of people can't give like me, I couldn't give people grace for a long time because I didn't give myself grace. If I made a mistake, I was on me. So if I'm on me, you think I'm gonna let you slide with something? And people were like, yo, what's the problem? And when I start loving myself and I start talking to myself kinder and softer, then I in turn treated people that way. Right. Then I in turn could see why people do the things they do, because now I understood why I do the things I do. And so self-love allows you to be able to see other people differently. So self-love affects your whole circle in a positive way. You get what I'm saying? So that's why self-love is important, and it provides a changed mindset that it can, and it provides healing from those apologies you didn't get, from those people who hurt you and left, from those disappointments in yourself that you didn't completely live up to. That self-love is like a covering. Think of how the way God covers you. Think of the way, if you're spiritual, think of the way if we define God's love, right? Self-love should look like God's love for you. And when you can get to that place, your reactions aren't as big. You're, like you said, negative situations, you're not going as crazy with it because you handle things in love. Because that's what you are at this point. You know. However, to get to this part, people assume self-love is a one-stop destination.
It's not.
It's not. I can wake up today and y'all see me smiling and happy, and literally I can get off this line right quick and something triggers me and I dive deep down. So talk a little bit about the ebb and flow of self-love.
I didn't hear you. Say it one more time.
The ebb and flow of self-love.
Well,
it can go like this. Like, you may not be happy all day, but every day you are. It just may not be all day. So there's an ebb and flow. Like, self-love doesn't look like I'm happy 24/7 days.
Exactly. And that's important for people to understand when, you know, and I didn't understand that in the beginning because, like I said, you know, I was in a dark place being birthed into this, you know, having to love myself, right? So I thought that it was something that I had to do every day, and, you know, then I'm going to reach a certain level and that's going to be it. No, self-love is a consistent journey that you're on every day, and it's okay to have bad days. We beat ourselves up so much for falling short. Like, you're human at the end of the day. Pinch yourself. If you feel pain, that means that you are made of flesh, okay? And we have to not be so hard on ourselves, but yet still not be so soft on ourselves either. Because one thing I used to do was I used to get stuck.
Okay.
I would get stuck in a situation mentally and not be able to move forward. And I've been working on, you know, myself and bettering that situation. When I find myself like I'm not stuck, but I have a trigger, and the more I work on me, and the thing about it is, like, you might expect somebody else to help you with that trigger, but you got to work on those triggers for yourself. And that's why it's so important to find a therapist, a good therapist, not just any therapist, but one that fits you, because they'll help you with the tools and resources. And then again, like, I will always come back to the man up above. You understand what I'm saying? Because he will talk to you, you just got to open up and let him in, you know, surrender yourself. But, you know, understanding that it's not something that you do every day. I have my days where I know I'm not in a good space, but I know that I'm not going to sit there for too long. I just need a moment. And it's okay to take those moments. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset, but just know that you just going, like Aaliyah said, dust yourself off and get up and try again, right? Keep it moving, because if you don't keep it moving, you're going to fall into a deep depression. And sometimes we don't even realize that we are depressed.
Because this could be depression. I am depressed, but depression can look like this, fully functioning.
Exactly. Like, it can look just like this too. So, you know, you have to really get to know you. So you could be like, you know, I'm not going down this route, because that's like the book. I had
see it coming.
I could have talked about, and I was like, if I go this way, I'm not going to be where I need to be. I need to talk about the love first before I get here and talk about this. So that way, by the time I talk about this, I'm in a good space with myself, right? Not hurting. So, you know, I hope I answered your question.
No, you did. And I wanted to piggyback a little bit. You said something a little bit earlier, but about not getting stuck. Sometimes we forget how much power we have, because we have given up a lot of our power. When you're helping other people, when you're always putting other people first, it's also a disguise of giving up power. So then when it's time to reclaim your power, you don't even know how to do that. You don't even know how to get yourself out of a rut. But you can speak life into the person that comes up the block looking sad. So I just want to remind us that the power is within you. And I just, like I shared with you about a few weeks ago, I was great. I was in a good mood. And just like that, the enemy got into my head, and I had these random thoughts that just came out of nowhere, and it stopped my creativity and everything. And then I had to remember, am I a child of God? Do I have power over? So why am I sitting in this? Why am I chilling? And then I immediately opened my mouth and I said, thoughts, you gotta go. And sometimes we don't realize, because we're so in our head or so things, that we don't do the simplest thing as speaking. Like, I'm not just like, just talk. No, speak it. Whatever you're trying to do, speak it out loud and move mountains with your words. And with that, I want us to go to affirmations. Everybody who has their book, I want you to, if you have it, you can read along with us. If not, you're just going to repeat after Gia, because she did add an affirmation. So we're going to read the affirmation together. And I want everybody to say it. I don't care where you are, plane, train, automobile. I want us to all repeat after Gia. Proceed.
Okay. The first one that I'm going to say, you're going to say your name after you say I love you. So I'm going to say Gia, but you say your name. I love you, Gia.
I love you, Lisa.
I am enough.
I am enough.
I am smart.
I am smart.
I accept change.
I accept change.
I am open-minded.
I am open-minded.
It's okay to take a break.
It's okay to take a break.
My opinion matters.
My opinion matters.
I am strong.
I am strong.
I am confident.
I am confident.
I am intelligent.
I am intelligent.
I am worthy.
I am worthy.
It's okay to be private.
It's okay to be private.
I am respected.
I am respected.
I am beautiful.
No said. I'm beautiful.
I am full of gratitude.
I am full of gratitude.
I attract opportunity.
I attract opportunity.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I like this one. It's okay to say no.
It's okay to say no.
I believe in myself.
I believe in myself.
I am blessed.
I am blessed.
I am successful.
I am successful.
I am healthy.
I am healthy.
I could do this.
I can do this.
I have beautiful qualities to offer.
I have beautiful qualities to offer.
I will achieve my goals and dreams.
I will achieve my goals and my dreams.
I am consistent.
I am consistent. I gotta speak that because it ain't there yet. Read it.
It's okay to set boundaries.
It is okay to set boundaries.
I am kind to myself and others.
I am kind to myself and others.
This is another key one. I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I add value.
I add value.
It's okay to take my time to heal.
It's okay to take my time to heal.
I am one of a kind.
I am one of a kind.
It will work out.
It will work out.
The only approval I need is my own.
The only approval I need is my own.
I am full of potential.
I am full of potential.
I have faith.
I have faith.
Mhm. It's okay to love myself.
It's okay to love myself.
I am highly favored.
I am highly favored.
I am protected.
I am protected.
This is another one. It's okay not to be perfect.
It's okay not to be perfect.
However, my imperfections do not define me.
However, my imperfections do not define me.
I am my biggest fan.
I am my biggest fan.
It's okay to be afraid.
It's okay to be afraid.
I will get through this.
I will get through this. Yes! Everybody better have said that wherever they are. Let me see some likes, some loves. If y'all were in y'all houses reciting that, because those, you got to speak life into your life. Words are powerful, y'all, and so often we use those words to uplift others and forget those same words, that same tongue works with you. Okay? All right. So, Gia, what would you tell your younger self after these experiences? A lot of us are so hard on ourselves throughout life that we miss so many opportunities, and we miss just enjoying a lot of things because we're so uptight. Everything is we're judging ourselves more than other people judge us, you know? So with this journey of self-love, what would you tell your younger self?
Well, child, what I would tell Gia, I would tell her not to be so scared. I understand that you feel alone, but during that time of being alone, it's for you to find yourself and get closer with God. I would tell myself that I can't accomplish my dreams. I would tell myself not to give up and not to, this is my biggest thing, not to camouflage myself to fit in. I always reflected, like I even have a tattoo of a butterfly, right? And I like the butterfly, and I didn't realize it was because, beginning it was a caterpillar. And I felt as though I've been a caterpillar all my life. It is time for me to transition into what I'm supposed to be. Just like a phoenix coming out of the flames of the fire. It's time for me to spread my wings and fly. So that's what I would tell Gia. And I would let her know that she is beautiful. There was one point in my life I didn't feel that, even though my mother always told me, but I didn't feel it. So I would let her know that you are, but find out what it is within you first, because beauty is within. So I didn't find my beauty within, so I felt as though I wasn't beautiful on the exterior. Ooh. So I'm finding my beauty. I'm still working on it. Even though the hair looking right and everything over here, I'm still working on finding that beauty, and not the beauty that you see. but the beauty that I feel within me, that I can actually feel it come through my pores, my spirit, and my soul. That's the beauty I'm looking for. So that's what I would tell the younger version. And if I could add, I want to have a conversation with my future Gia. So I'm telling you right now, Gia, you see what you're doing here? It's just letting you know that you are capable of doing anything. And every struggle that you go through, don't look at it as a struggle or a problem. Look at it as God is working on you to direct you in the right direction. In order for you to get to your destination, you have to go through this in order for you to be successful. There's no way in the world that you're going to be that business owner or that person that's going to be speaking at conferences telling women how to love on themselves if you don't go through the experience on your own. I may not be a mother. I may not have any, I'm not a mother. I don't have any children, but there's so much people in my surroundings that give me that are my children, that I can help guide them on their journey. So the future you, future me, Gia, I'm proud of you. Don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. And you're going to see the glory.
Amen. Sister took us to church. I love every bit. Hey, Aunt Janice. Hey, Aunt Francine. I saw a couple other people come in. Mama Faye, Denise, my mama. Hey, all y'all. Yes, give likes for that comment, for that response. That was beautiful, Gia. Beautiful. And I am, as always, am going to do a little giveaway, and I'm going to end it with a poem. So, if you did not, no, I got you. If you did not ever win, those are the only people that should be responding to this question, okay? The question is, give me I'll do two. Give me two things that Gia mentioned are in her toolbox in her process of self-love. Two things in her toolbox that she uses in her assistance of self-love. Go on while I read this poem. And this poem is dedicated to you, Gia, and all the lovely people that are watching from the book. It's called MTA. Move to alignment, tranquility, stillness, peace. No one else's agenda, no one else to worry about. Nothing to do. An empty house filled with the sound you alone create. Slippers, high bun, sweats, chocolates, strawberries, wine. Your favorite music or book. Nice, warm bubble bath. Today will be the day. Don't let them make your day their day. Today, we recenter, realign, renew. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. It looks like people are not getting these answers. Go ahead, Gia. What would you want to say?
I just wanted to add a couple of things before we cut off and while people are putting stuff in the chat on what I said. One of the things that I wanted to mention that I started doing as well that I almost forgot was getting my affairs in order. So when I wrote this book, wrote in the book, in there, I do mention, getting your affairs in order, like your wills and your healthcare proxies and getting a trust and all of these other things that we don't think that's important. And by, getting your birth certificates together, making sure you have all your important documents and stuff in order. And I had a friend of mine who read it and she started taking care of her paperwork. So that's something that I am very big on, put it in writing campaign. It's a movement, actually, a put it in writing movement. And I want each and every person on this line, I don't care if you feel as though you have all your ducks in a row, reach out, because there's so many things that we need to make sure are in order for ourselves and for our loved ones. Because when you love in yourself, you loving the people around you. Because the beautiful thing about self-love is that when you're doing good and your cup is full, the people around you benefit from that. Right? So it's not only you being in good energy and making sure the house is clean and you're cooking dinner and you're feeling all good. You're making sure your paperwork is in order, so your kids is good. You're making sure that your parents is good, you know, making sure everybody's in order. So that's also something that I'm very passionate about, you know. The other thing I wanted to say to you, Lisa, is thank you. Thank you for giving all of us this platform to share our story, because it has helped us tremendously, each and every one of us, you know, who got on this podcast, on this live and was able to share the story. It's helped us in so many ways. So continue to follow
Thank you.
what he has laid out for you. Like I tell you, you have so many talents, and you don't use one and not the other. Use them all. Because you using them all, you're reaching out to so many different people, you know. So I appreciate you. I look forward to us working together, continuing the spirit of a woman, because this is something that's not going to die out. I'm just going to let you know. You
I
picked the
see. We
perfect,
talked about a retreat and everything, girl.
yes, you picked the perfect name, because the spirit of the woman lives on forever. So this is not dying down no time soon. And I'm excited to be a part of this, because of you, I am able to birth something I wasn't even thinking about while I was going through what I was going through. You know, the name Loving Her Nails came from a business venture that I started with somebody. It didn't even have to do anything with the poem. But because I used it as a title, it made me understand I needed to love myself. So, and it made me understand that I need to do more for myself. And every time I think about loving me, I think about the next woman who may be going through something that I'm going through. So eventually my goal is to create something for all women to be able to go to, and be able to go and look and find out whatever it is they're looking for, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a retreat, a vacation, whatever it is, they're going to find ways to love themselves. So that's all I want to do, is to make sure that I'm sharing this information, whether it's legal or whether it's you taking a vacation, whatever it is. And like I said, I am so excited that you did this. And I you know, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
And just tell the people really quick what you got going on. I know you do Ladies of Justice, so I put it in the chat. So just elaborate a little where people can find you, where they can follow you, what services you provide, all that good stuff.
Okay, so you can definitely join my Loving Her Nails group. It's on Facebook. Originally, like I said, it started off with a business venture of dealing with non-toxic nail polish, but it turned into something where I wanted to be, I'm putting it back up, so I'm rebranding everything, where I wanted to be positive notes that I'm going to be posting in that room. Not only positive notes, but real comments, real statements of what we go through every day. Because I don't want it to always be about, you know, being happy and Good Friday and all that. I want to have some good, positive insight for people who are going through stuff. So I want you to be able to relate. Also, on Instagram, IG, you can follow me at Ladies of Justice USA. Where I'm going to be posting, I just opened that up, so I'm going to be posting stuff in there for you to be able to, if you have any questions about opening up a new business, like myself, opening up a new business, becoming an entrepreneur, you know, all of this stuff came out of all of the struggles that I was going through. All this stuff was birthed. So if you're interested in making some changes in your life, wanting to know about how you can get your business started, how you could, what steps you need to take, reach out, because I'm here to help other women get to the next level, you know. So thank you for that platform.
I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, please give Miss Gia Bracey, aka Mrs. Loving Her Nails, a round of applause for being an amazing guest. I enjoyed this conversation immensely. And I think, is that Tara? I think that's Tara. Hey, Tara, we shouted you out in your 5K run about 20 minutes ago. So you missed it a little bit. Your fellow Taurus girl had you back. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Definitely, if you haven't gotten the book yet, you can go to design2create.org. That's design, the number 2, create.org. And if you want to follow me on IG, oh, it's Trevor, my bad. Well, tell your wife he was bigging her up. If you want to find me on IG, then you go. I think your mama's in the chat. Hi, Mama Gia. If you want to find me on IG, it is
Hey, mommy.
IAMJLDOMOND, like my Facebook quote, JL Diamond. And thank you everybody for tuning in to another dope Spirit of a Woman series. And every time I think this is going to be a limited situation, somebody come around and be like, "No, you got to do more with this." So I really am glad that this is touching people, healing people, and helping people. And we're going to do more. And we'll be back next week at 7 p.m. with another contributor of the book. You may know her, Mrs. Berna Lee, my mother's twin. So I hope to see you guys there. Any last words, Gia?
God bless everybody and stay loving on you.
And shout out to all your friends who came and reviewed it.
Yes, the family and friends. To my family and my friends that join and those who are going to be watching the replay, shout out to you.
Alrighty. And as you already know, Spirit of a Woman, I hope you guys cop it. But in the meantime, it is your time to inspire. All right, ladies and gentlemen, peace and blessings. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.